Do you engage in random behaviors that you don't even realize you're doing, like clicking a pen or twirling your hair? Some people call these nervous habits, but those people in the neurodivergent community call it stimming. That's what we're talking about today. Hello, welcome to Life Divergent. I'm Trina.
And I'm Jason. Before we get started, quick reminder that we are not doctors or licensed medical professionals. Please do not use this as substitute for professional medical advice.
All right. So, what is stimming and why do we do it? So, stimming basically is a natural part of, and often healthy part of the way that we express ourselves. Everyone does it. It typically serves one of four purposes.
D.
So, the first thing, it can bring calming or relief. So, it can help soothe anxiety and reduce sensory overload in loud, bright, or crowded settings.
Speaking of sensory overload, those of us who are watching can see that there's a cat licking your hand, who has been doing so for like 30 seconds. Just chilling there, all casual, like it's no big deal.
I keep trying to get her to go elsewhere, but she's not being cooperative. Oh, well, I love her.
And had I been stimming, that might have helped with this next issue, or reason is
Yes.
focusing.
Yes.
Stimming can help regulate your mind keep it from wandering. It is pretty useful for those who have ADHD.
Right. It can be used for expression. It's a physical outlet, basically, for strong emotions like joy, excitement, and even boredom.
And another reason is just general stimulation. It can give you some sensory input when your environment is understimulating.
Right.
Now,
So,
there are four examples of, no, types of stimming.
right.
First of which we're going to cover is physical stimming. They're whole body movements that release energy or settle the nervous system. A very prominent one is hand flapping, which is rapid waving or flapping hands and fingers. It's often a burst of excitement or pent up energy. It's when you see it happening.
Right. I think that oftentimes we see hand flapping in um, people who are autistic. At least it's commonly associated with that. I don't know that I've really recognized it very much in the ADHD community. That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist there, but it can be, something just like this or like this or, something like that.
You know, what's interesting is I'm sure there are people who are aware that they do this, but
Hmm.
for those who are not, now they'll never unknow it. They just know that that's part of them, having heard this.
Right. um, and even people who realize they're doing it like after the fact, these stimming behaviors are quite often done unconsciously or subconsciously. Like, you know that you do it, but you're not aware that you start doing these things until you are. So you can be doing something for a while and then be like, oh, I'm doing that.
Yeah, I have the next one. I think, um,
Yeah.
rocking, or he's swaying back and forth, while sitting or standing. I've seen it in uh, my experiences with TV shows and movies, primarily, where someone's sitting with their knees kind of tucked to their chest, arms wrapped around their knees, and they're just kind of like swaying back and forth as a way
Hmm.
of helping them process the stressful situation.
Right.
So I've seen that. I think I do that. If there's,
I
hmm?
I do to the extent that I can be standing and just kind of, you know,
Oh yeah,
swaying back and forth.
I'll do that. I mean, anyone who's watched these has seen that I'm just over here kind of doing this when you're talking. Not
Hmm.
that you talking is stressful, but just do it without thinking about it.
Hmm.
Yes, the
Right.
environment's understimulating, so I got to do something. No, I kid.
Uh huh.
These are jokes. I do that.
Yeah.
Never take anything I say seriously.
Never?
Never.
Never.
Not even this.
All right. Here's another one that we both do. It's always interesting to me, the pacing and jumping. So basically, walking in a repetitive pattern, or jumping continuously. And it doesn't have to be for a long time, but like if you're just overly joyed or something like that. Yay!
I didn't know I did this until yesterday when you said I do it all the time.
Yeah, you do when you're a little excitable. Um, and we've spoken about the pacing before, and I think that both of us have noticed the pacing in ourselves, and I've noticed it in you. Predominantly, like when talking on the phone, or even like when you're talking to someone, you'll be like
Be like what? For those who don't have
walking.
visual.
Oh, and like putting your finger up by your mouth and kind of gesturing with your hand. But yeah, you if we're standing and talking, if there's the space or whatever, oftentimes you will pace while you're talking. I basically just rock.
Pacing helps me think.
Huh?
Pacing helps me think.
It does. It's very helpful.
Is it stimming? Well, part of what we're talking about here is processing overstimulating environments, getting through situations that might be stressful. So perhaps
Yes,
the
it's
reason why pacing
considered a
helps me
form of
think.
stimming.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes when people hear stimming, they mostly associate it to things that you do predominantly maybe with your hands,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But it really is, like it says, whole body. Like your whole body can be engaged, not necessarily at the same time, but you know, using several different parts of your body to engage in stimming behaviors, which
Yeah.
will be uncovering as we go along.
Interesting one that I had never heard of before is
Hmm.
they just call it toe walking.
Right.
I mean, it's described as walking on the tips of your toes, but that I'm inclined to think that's really more on the balls of your feet. That's how I envision it, but yeah,
Yes, but it's called tippy toeing, tiptoeing,
yeah,
like when you're okay. Nobody who's not watching visual doesn't know what I just did, but
sneaking creepily.
yes. But yeah, walking on your tippy toes.
That is a form of stimming.
Yes, it is.
Uh,
Um,
there
I
are
think
other types of stimming besides physical,
yes, there are. So the second one we're going to be discussing is tactile stimming.
which in
So you're
retrospect is a type of, I mean, it's not a category of physical stimming, but it is related to physicalness.
touching,
Yeah.
touch. Yes,
Versus overall body movements.
right. So this can be random things having to do with pressure, texture, rhythms to anchor the senses and things like that. So the first one, which yeah, it I really engage in a lot, skin or nail biting, picking at your skin or chewing on your fingernails. I don't chew my fingernails, although whoops, that fingernail is my middle one, so it looked like I was flipping the bird. It broke off yesterday, pretty low. But I used to bite my nails pretty significantly until I was about 19, I'd say. Um, so it was a pretty bad habit of mine because I would bite my nails down to the quick.
The
Um,
what?
to the quick. That's that piece of that layer that attaches basically where your fingernail actually attaches to the skin or to
I've
your
never heard
finger.
that before.
Really?
Yeah, quick, as in moving quickly.
Yes,
That,
the quick.
oh,
Um, but even now to this day, even though I don't bite my nails anymore, as you can see, um, I do pick at the skin around my nails a lot. I bite it. Um, chew it off, that kind of thing.
I used to do that until relatively recently, and I didn't realize I had stopped until now when we're talking about it.
There you go.
There I go.
Gonna say that you used to do it when you were younger.
Yeah.
Silly me just thought it was a habit.
It is.
It is a habit, but it's a stimming type of habit.
It can be a stimming type of habit.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said earlier, like in the intro of this video,
Podcast.
back in the day we used to, podcast video, geez, that we used to consider those, nervous habits. It's before we knew about stimming or labeled things as stimming.
And it makes sense because nervous habits, I mean, people do this as part of a de-stressor, like
Right.
unconsciously or otherwise.
Right. So I guess we knew what it was, but didn't really understand the significance of it. Or
Maybe psychologists did, and everyone else called it a nervous habit because they didn't know.
In the 60s, you think? Or the
60s. I don't. You said something about when we were younger. I was just thinking about me when I was younger in the 90s. Nah, we are not the same.
No, we are not the same. Like a 21-year difference. We are not the same.
Something like that.
Yeah. What do you mean something like that? I was 21 when I had you, so it's not something like that. It is that.
Well, it wasn't on the dot, was it?
No, there were no dots. Okay. So,
besides the skin or nail biting, there's fidgeting. That can include things like twirling hair, twisting jewelry, or just rubbing soft or textured fabrics.
Yeah.
So this is interesting because what I've noticed that I do is OCD related activities, mannerisms. So I'll do the thing where I have to touch my cuticles or fingertips against either my own nails or some surface, but I have to do all of them, have to do all 10, can't just do any other number.
Right.
And that is something that I kind of do habitually, but it does come up often in situations where I need some sort of stimulation, like something's boring or just, I guess that's really it.
All right. I do twirl my hair a lot. I've discussed it previously. I think predominantly when I'm driving. And even if I'm not twirling my hair, I'm like doing things like this a lot. For people who can't see, running my fingers through my hair, that kind of thing. I do like to rub very soft material, like kind of fake fur, but it has to be a particular type, particular feeling, because there are some that I can't stand. That's another podcast. But anyway, so I do fidget a lot. And then moving on to something I think you probably, those who actually watch these podcasts, you see me doing a lot, which is muscle tensing, squeezing your fist. You won't see me tensing my leg, but I do that. Cracking my knuckles and just in general, moving my hands, rubbing my hands together and such, and squeezing my hands. So,
interesting digression. Whenever we're talking about anything in life, and I'll read something or hear something, my mind will just go through every possible interpretation of it and try to rest on something that's amusing. So when you're talking about squeezing your fists, I just, without really putting too much thought into it, thought of making a fist with one hand and then squeezing that fist with the other hand. That is squeezing your fist.
Yep.
Don't know where that came from. It just
squeezing fists. Or okay, people who aren't watching didn't see what I was just doing, but I was squeezing my individual fist, but then I was squeezing my fist with my hand. All right. Yes. I do the tensing my leg and bouncing my leg a lot also. Um, I tend to refrain or catch myself pretty quickly when we're doing the podcast because I realize that people who are watching, like, it can cause my camera to bounce because I lean on my desk. So I try to catch myself doing that and stop myself from doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So there's other one final tactile stimming example that we can give is object manipulation. That can involve clicking a pen, um, ripping paper, or snapping your fingers repetitively.
I'm snapping repetitively.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to, when I was like in the working world, the workforce, I don't know why I struggled with figuring out how to say that. Yeah, when I had a job, I used to click my pen a lot when I was thinking or waiting on the phone or reading something. Um, I like the way it sounds. It's soothing to me.
Interesting.
Yeah. Uh, and I don't know that I engage in the snapping of the fingers or anything like that. Or, yeah.
Yeah, I don't snap either, but the pen clicking is something that I will do if I have one nearby.
Yeah. I do things that have to be even with both hands. I tap my fingers on my desk. Um, and I used to do this thing on my keyboard where when I went to put my hands on the keyboard, I'd have to run my hand across my keyboard back and forth before I'd start typing. Sometimes, if I'm sitting at the keyboard, I'll just run my fingers, or I'm sure you can hear that, right?
Oh yeah.
Um, for the clicking noise. Um, yeah. So.
No, I've learned so much about you just from doing these podcasts. All these oddities or behaviors or modes of thinking that I just didn't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Your mom's a human being,
Yes.
a screwed up human being. Yeah.
You are a person, that's for sure. Okay,
Well,
so
thanks.
anyway, moving on.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, segueing from the tactile stimming, we
Yep.
can talk about the auditory and vocal stimming,
Yay.
which involves these are words I don't really know how to pronounce. It's echolalia and palalalia.
Yes, it can also be pronounced echolalia and palalalia. I guess I should have said they can also be pronounced echolalia and palalalia. It depends on where you look.
I've seen it both ways on the internet.
Me as well.
Okay. You know
So,
more about those than I do, so
um, well, echolalia is basically when you hear other people say things and you repeat it, or sounds that you hear and you'll imitate them and you'll just repeat them and repeat them. Um, if someone you're talking to says a word or something like that, you can repeat it. Um, your sister and I listened to this one particular podcast, and the people, there's one particular person, when he says the word what, he'll go, what, what. And so every time that we hear him say that, we have to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until we stop repeating it, obviously.
yeah.
But
And if you're repeating it, you're basically doing the noise from Down with the Sickness.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
What'd you say?
I said,
Did
yeah,
you
exactly that.
Oh, I thought you said, yeah, don't do that.
Oh,
Okay. Um, so And then palilalia is something that is more internal. It comes from within. So you can just start saying a word repeatedly out loud that you thought in your head. Or you can even repeat it in your head, like it's nonverbal, just a repetition of a particular word or phrase or songs or sounds. And then you can say them out loud, but it's something that required no outside cue for you to do that.
You just decided saying or thinking a word and put it on repeat.
Yep. I do both of these things. What about you? Do you
Not
do
the palolalia, but the other one.
echolalia or echolalia? Yeah.
I think I have, like, I don't do it regularly. It's something that I'll do if a word sounds interesting because it's fun. But
Yeah.
nah, I wouldn't say that it's a stimming habit of mine.
Like onomatopoeia.
Sure.
I'll repeat that a lot, which is palilalia, just out of my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
So besides the echo and the pally, you have humming and singing.
Mm-hmm.
We all know what those are.
Mm-hmm.
But some people do those as a form of stimming.
Yeah.
Which,
Hums, whistling, or repeating favorite musical lines.
which to revisit the beginning of what we were doing, uh, stimming is something that can be done for focus, stimulation, or relief, just a general calmingness. So, yes, people hum and sing, but sometimes it's for those reasons.
Right. All right. Clicking. So you can use your mouth to make certain sounds. Clicking. What I used to do was like, and I think that this probably, I don't know if it would fall under like palilalia or echolalia, but the sound that a turn signal makes in a car,
Oh yeah, that.
or dinkle, 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 dinkle. I used to do that a lot when I was a kid. I think I maybe sometimes do it now, the dinkle, dinkle. But
Is that really a thing that you do or did?
the dinkle, dinkle occasionally. Like I'll think it in my head mostly. Think it in my head. That's redundant. I'll think it.
Dinkle,
Uh,
though, that's the word.
huh.
Dinkle is the word for the sound. That's the
Dinkle,
onomatopoeia.
dinkle, dinkle, dinkle. For some of them, the ones that don't go, it's dinkle, dinkle.
I mean, if I don't think I've ever heard a car that made that sound when you
It
hit the turn
dinkled.
signal.
Well, the cars I've had dinkle. So there.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. Or it can be other sharp mouth sounds, just basically mouth sounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any of those? No?
I don't think so. No.
All right, then. We'll move
So,
on.
lastly and not leastly, types of visual stimming. It's very interesting.
Yes.
There, yeah, sometimes people can stare at spinning objects like ceiling fans, just watch it go round and round and round. Or maybe even just blinking rapidly as a way of processing information or understanding the environment if you're getting too much light. Not necessarily just because it's too much light, just the overexposure to stimuli in general.
Right. Um, when I have a ceiling fan, I caught myself doing that, like tracking the ceiling fan. Um, and when I was younger, when my eyes were not so old, I used to be able to very rapidly jiggle my eyes. And so one of the things that I would do when I was laying in bed at night mostly, um, the bathroom light would be on and the door would be slightly shut, but I could see the light through the door. And I would lay there and look at the light and jiggle my eyes so that I'd see the light looking like it was bouncing around. I don't really do that anymore because, as I said, my eyes are old and I can't really do that so much. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's that.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Can you jiggle your eyes?
Yeah, I can.
I thought so. Just couldn't remember. I couldn't remember. Yeah.
Okay.
What else?
What else for visual stimming?
Yeah.
It's a concept called line of sight play. Are you familiar with that? Have you heard of it?
I don't know that I've really ever heard of it before until gathering information for this podcast.
It's about kind of deliberately blurring the effects or blurring what you're seeing by kind of looking at things sideways so it's kind of out of view, or moving your hands in front of your eyes. It's a way of intentionally defocus, which I've noticed that I do not necessarily with moving the fingers quickly, but I'll let my focus lapse deliberately and blur things around me. It's interesting, it's
Oh,
distracting, gives me something to focus on.
I've done that. What you just described.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I just didn't even think about that as being line of sight play.
Well,
Huh.
if you're going to say, well, technically it's not, perhaps that's correct, but it is a way that I can connect with this,
Yeah.
which is the goal of creating the line of sight
Uh-huh.
issues,
I
blurriness.
mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. Effectively the same. Sure, why not?
Sure, why not? All right. So, um, I don't really have any others, I don't think, of the line of sight play things that I do. So, I think the biggest takeaway from today's episode is that, in general, stimming is like a harmless habit. Everyone does it to some extent. Some people do it more than others. Um, but, it's just a way to self regulate. And generally speaking, it's not something that needs to be stopped or corrected or hidden. I mean, a lot of people, when they're masking, they do try to hide a lot of these things, like when they're, in public or whatever. But again, generally speaking, it's not an issue. It's healthy.
Until it's not.
Exactly. Dun,
Because it
dun,
can be
dun.
physically harmful. I have seen this mostly in the autistic community,
Uh-huh.
but people who are on the lower functioning end, there's a lot of self-harm,
Mm-hmm.
head banging, biting, and that can be a safety issue for that person or others around them.
Right.
Severely disrupts life and learning and all of the everything in between.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah. So in general, don't worry about your stimming. Let it be. People do it. It's in general, I would say, an acceptable form of being a human being. Um, However, if someone's harming themselves, then of course you'll want to intervene in those situations. So I guess that's all I have for today's episode. What about you?
That is also all that I have for today's episode.
Excellent. So join us for the next episode when we'll be talking about over explaining.
Yes, we will be making sure that you understand by explaining it multiple ways.
Are you overly explaining right now?
That's the joke.
I thought so. All right. See you next time. Bye.
Goodbye.